We are still here in chapter, or section 8 rather, chord reference charts of Ted Greene's chord chemistry, where we're walking page by page, word by word and chord by chord through the book together. And I'm so thrilled that you're still here with me. And if you're still here with me, please drop us a line in the comments below and just let us know you're still here working alongside. Today we're starting with augmented chords, which basically include the root, the third, and the sharp 5. We are page 53, top of page 53. We have one more session after this to get through and complete section 8, chord reference charts. If you need the book, you can get the book right here in the link in the card above or the link in the description below. Starting with A, augmented on position number 2, and we're looking at the 3, the root, and then we're skipping these strings here. So we're starting with the third, the root, and then the sharp. I was going to say 5, but we're actually starting with finishing with the sharp 5. Now let's take a look at what that sounds like with the A root note and the bass. Let's keep in mind that we want to tonicize these root notes. Now, each chord has 3 names. Augmented chords repeat every 4 frets, so check this out. So let's say fret 2, position 2. Then we have the sharp 5, the 3, and then the root note. Let's repeat it again every 4 frets. So 1, 2, or 2, 4, and then so we're looking at the root, the sharp 5, and the 3 on the top. So very handy to know. So we're starting with position number 2. Let's walk through this one time. 3 root, sharp 5, and then sharp 5, 3 root, and then root, sharp 5, 3. Now every one of these chords can repeat 4 frets, same name. Shuffle the notes around. All right, next shape on position number 3. We're starting on position number 3. We have the sharp 5, the root note, and then the third. And you can select any fingers you like. I'm just going to walk us through this, okay? All right, so we just have to pay careful attention to landmarks here. The root note right there in the A, good. Position number 2 again. We're on the sharp 5, the 3, and then the root note on the top. And this little Fender Champ sounds a little different than my Mesa Boogie, the DC5 that you're used to hearing, right? Let's take a look at A augmented again on position number 1 with a sharp 5. The 3, and the root note. Yeah, the A, position number 4, we have the 3, A augmented, the 3, the root note, and then the sharp 5 here. And if you wanted to sing the root note, that gives us sort of a home base to pitch from. Pitching mound, a mound upon which to pitch from. All right, moving right along. We're using the 3rd fret, 3rd position, sharp 5, 3, and the root note. That's very interesting, isn't it? Sharing shapes, but usually the B string and the, anyway, interesting stuff. So we've got the 3, backup 1, we've got the 3, the root, the sharp 5, and then the sharp 5, the 3, and then the root. The next shape is going to look like A augmented again on position number 5. So we're starting with, let's take a look. We're starting with the sharp 5, the 3, and then the root note on the top. You could use any fingering you like. Good. And And I'm sure you're crushing it on your end. So let's take a look at another really common one. So position number 5, we've got the root note, the 3, and the sharp 5 over here. We're just taking a little walk. We're just taking a little walk together. Pretty simple, nothing stressful. Just getting our fingers on every one of these chord voicings. And just enjoying the moment, right? Position number 2, root, sharp 5, 3. Can really draw out those 𝗫𝗏𝗇 tones here. But it's a wonderful, wonderful album. Just a wonderful record. So if you haven't heard that 𝗏𝗏 record, go check it out. So position number 4, I know you've heard it, but if you haven't, you're going to want to hear it. C sharp, G, let's see. So we have the C sharp, we have the E, well, the E sharp, we'll call it E sharp, and then the A. So we have the 3, the sharp 5, and the root note. I know we typically tend to call that E sharp and F, but that would typically be called a flat 6 if we labeled it F. Against an A chord, that would be a flat 6, right? So we've got to have this be a sharp 5 because she's an augmented chord, isn't she? Right. And position number 4 on A augmented. Again, root 3, let's cluster that 3 on the bottom nice and tight, and then give ourselves some space to breathe here between the root and the 3 and the sharp 5 on the top. Moving right along, we're looking at position number 3, and I'm just kind of really enjoying taking it easy, breathing easy, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Kind of like during our morning ritual for guitar growth here on the channel every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, all throughout 2025. What a beautiful experience we've been having together. 3 sharp 5 root. Then we're moving right along to A sharp 5 and the 3 on the top. Talk about enjoying some space in these wide intervallic voicings. And then we're going to compare that against a really nice tight major 3rd after major 3rd. Closed voicing. Position 3, we have the root, 3 sharp 5, and then we move right along to the 3 sharp 5 root. We're continuing to move right along to the sharp 5 root, 3, and then we're jumping up to position number 5, which is 3 sharp 5 root. I know you want to hear that again. Yep, I knew it. Back to position number 3. We kind of glanced over those, but we're just going to continue moving forward. Position number 3, A, sharp 5, 3, and sharp 5 again. Make sure your strings are tuned up because we've got these octaves that are going to not hide any sin. So be careful with your tunings here. I have to be extra careful. I spent a little bit of extra time tuning this thing up. It's not intonated perfectly, as you may or may not be able to tell, but I do have a specific tuning method for this particular guitar, and if you're interested, let me know if you'd like to see it, and I'll drop another video for it. Sharp 5, 3, sharp 5, root. Here's the A root note down here. So we can sing that bass line, that bass note at the bottom of the chord. A augmented again, surprise, surprise, on position number 5. What happens here is we've got one of those rascally second finger double stops, and this is going to be a little bit of a chore. Sharp 5, root, second, and then we've got to get that second finger out of the way so that we can roll up and out of the way to hear that first string ring that root note again. So sharp 5, root, 3, sharp 5, root on the top. Good. All right. Position 5, root, 3, sharp 5, root. You could use that second finger again. You can use fingers 4, 2, 3, 1, or depending where you're going, where you're coming from. You know, you can use any finger permutation you like. For today's purposes, we'll just use 4-2, or I will use 4-3, or 4-2-3-1. You use what you want, of course, because you're the one playing your own guitar. And while I'm stopped looking at you here, how are you doing? Are you making it through the book? Are we actually going to do this together? My guess is yes, and I'm thrilled that you're still here. So let's celebrate that by moving right along. All right, position 5, we have the root, the sharp, or the 3, not the sharp anything, but the root, the 3, the sharp 5 follow, and then the 3. So it might be easier to just lay that second finger down and bar that, or double stop that second finger at this point, right? Position number 2, that gives us the root, the sharp 5, and the next voicing we have, you know, something that looks like we're going to be asked to do something that involves not sitting on the couch, right? This looks like we're gonna get real busy real quick, right? So we've got that root, the sharp 5, the 3, and then the root note again on the top. There's that A augmented we're looking for right there. Found you. Yes, we did. All right, A augmented again on position number 5. We could use the octave here. Let's omit it for all intents and purposes for today. Or let's include it. Why not? Who knows? You know, let's just do it. Let's just do it. So finger 1 on fret 5, and that is a full capo or an arched capo up over to the high E string. We have the root, the 3, the sharp 5, and the root note. You could use that optional circle tone to triplicate that, or triple at that octave. You can never have too many octaves, right? A augmented, position number 2. Let's take a look at the old 3, the old sharp 5, the old root, and then the old 3 again. And let's just revisit that principle where we can move up every 4 frets. It repeats itself. 3, sharp 5, root, 3. And then we have the sharp 5, root, 3, sharp 5, root, 3, sharp 5, root. 3, the place from whence we came 1 octave higher, we have the 3, the sharp 5, root, and then the 3 on the top. Excellent, excellent work. I know you're crushing this. The next shape is position 2. We have the 3, the sharp 5, the root, and we're got to get a little backwards with the hand here. So you notice that I've got a little bit of a reach with the 4th the pinky finger. The next one is still position number 2. We have the root, 3, sharp 5. You can use the root again, and then the 3 with that optional tone on the top. Yeah. A augmented on position number 3. We have the 3, or the root, the 3, the sharp 5, and then the 3, and then the sharp 5 again with a smeared or double stabbed 4th finger. There it is. Let's get some muscle memory going and practice those intervals. Position number 2 is 3. That's optional. The sharp 5, the root, the 3, and then the root on the top. Position 2. A augmented again, surprise, surprise. We get the 3, the sharp 5, the root, and then the root note on the top. All right, 5th position, root, octave, and then we have the 3 and the sharp 5 on the top. Yeah, I love that little delay, that dynamic delay. It doesn't get in the way, but it does leave a little residue after you. All right, we've got the 3, and that's my TC electronic what is it? It's the flashback. What a beautiful pedal that is. Just a beautiful delay. I think it's my favorite delay. So 3, root, sharp 5, and then root note on the top. So we've got this little interval on the bottom, the minor 6 interval with between the 3 and then the root, and then the sharp 5, and then the root note with the major 3 on the top. Good. Good. Yeah, it's all about control, right? We have the 3, the 5, or the root, and then the 3 and the sharp 5 here. Now it's just kind of been reduced a little bit. And then moving along to position number 5, we have the sharp 5, the root, well, the sharp 5, the root, the 3, and then the root note on the top. So all of these things have really distinctive flavors and really distinctive sounds, you know. And they are a very specific function, you know. A augmented on position number 5, we have the root, the sharp 5, the root, and the 3. Continuing along on position 5, we've got the root, the sharp 5, the 3, and then the root note on the top. So a very nice sort of like spread out, like it just spread a little bit. So we've got to get used to those grips where we can kind of play it, dismantle it, come back to it, and then kind of like just play it again. All right, last line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 chords left to go, friend. Yeah, we've got position 2, root 3, 5, and then 3 again on the top. Nice closed position bottom end, and then just kind of jump that 6 on the top, minor 6 on the top. Position number 3 leaves us with this really new, it's a fresh approach. We're getting to some new shapes here. We've got the position number 3, so we have the 3, the sharp 5, and then we have the sharp 5 and the root note on the top. So it's a really nice voicing. And you can hear the root note in the melody, right? Position number 4, we have the 3 in the bass. Then we're jumping on up to the root, the 3, and then the sharp 5, and finally the root on the top. I get a little tongue-tied on that one, but it is just a really simple approach where we have the 3 in the bass. Nice arrangement of tones, just getting that root note displaced to the top of the chord instead of, you know, down here low. A augmented on position number 4, same thing. We're going to look at that tight voicing down here with the root 3 and then the root, and then we're skipping up to the 5. So we have that really tight fingering pattern here on the fret hand, the picking hand, and then we have that ring finger kind of running up here to grab that leap, that little string skip. Yeah, position number 3. What's happening here, same shape. With the actually, let's read that out. So we've got the 3, the 5, the sharp 5, the 3, and the root note on the top. And we're looking at position 4 with the root, the 3, and then the sharp, the 3 and the sharp 5 on the top. So we have a major 3rd here and another major 3rd here starting on the 3rd. So we have root 3 and then sharp 5. Interesting concepts here. Hexatonic scales, symmetrical scales, whole tone scales. All right, A augmented. Second position, we have the 3, the root, the sharp 5. I've got to mix up these fingers a little bit and just kind of drop that thumb down to the bottom of the middle of the fingers as they stretch over the fretboard. That gets me access to that little thumb is the little pivotal moment here. That's the 3. I know you can do this with ease. I'm just kind of walking. I just wanted to enjoy walking through the woods and just kind of watching the light rays come through the trees. You know what I mean? 3, root, sharp 5, and root on the top. important. Fret 2, we have the root, the sharp 5, the root, and the 3. So root in the bass, the 3 in the bass, and then the sharp 5 in the bass. You know, just kind of taking a look at just major thirds as we ascend. Everything moves up a major third and you repeat the chord, right? And here's the final chord, and to which we are going to be rejoicing and be thankful that we've made it through another session together. The A augmented finally is the third position. We've got the root 3, sharp 5, and then the root on top. You know, we saw this one coming. You saw this one coming. I know you did. That's it. If you don't have the book and you need the book, you can go ahead and grab it so you can do this all on your own free time. I think if you're a student working through this with me, I guess you've got to find the time and make the time happen. I know that's a challenge sometimes, but you can do it, and we'll continue together. I'll be here. My plan is to be here. And get the book right here, the link in the card above or the link in the description below. And I will see you again next time. If you wanted to watch another video in the meantime, you can start right here. I guess what I'll do is just wish you happy picking. Yeah, I will. Bye now.